Clint, we're ready to go? Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with Georgia Tech head coach Jeff Collins. Coach, if you could open us up with a brief statement, some remarks before we take questions.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys coming out. Another really good week of practice with the guys. We ended it Saturday with a big scrimmage in front of our players' families, our coaches' families. Did a dress rehearsal, went to the hotel Friday night, just like we would before the game because we have so many newcomers. Didn't want the first time that they go to the hotel and experience our process to be the night before we go play in the bin. So we did that. Drove over on the buses in the morning and went down Yellow Jacket Alley for the first time in 3 years. Hats off to our band, cheerleaders that came out, all of our families that were there lining Yellow Jacket Alley, and that was something that we've greatly missed. And just to see like Jeff Sims and Jordan Williams and Myles Brooks, who have been playing here for 2 years and have never gone down Yellow Jacket Alley and experienced it, it was special. And, so we went through that experience. We did our whole pregame warm-up routine, and then we got ready and we put the ball down and we scrimmaged for right around 2 hours on Saturday. Really good competition. On both sides of the ball, between offense and defense, but also some really good competitions that have been going on throughout camp. This week, we've transitioned. We're still in camp mode, still got a lot to do to make us a better football team, and we've started adding in a lot of crowd noise in the team situations, and just to get ready because the bins is going to be loud, and we know this place gets loud as well, so we want to make sure we're prepared for the crowd noise and apply that kind of pressure to them as we continue to stress fundamentals and execution and playing really good football. Just real quick, so I can kind of go ahead and get ahead of it with just some of the personnel. The offensive linemen, we've got 4 new guys. Thought they'd come out here and they've shown some really good things. Gotten in with Coach Key's teaching, the things that we're doing schematically. Pierce Quick, Paul Teo, Corey Robinson, RJ Adams have all been significant contributors as we've been working and getting better. And just some of the young guys I want to mention that have been in the program. Joe Fusel, he's a walk-on that has come in, and he's might find himself in the 2 deep. We'll talk through the ATL. I think next Tuesday we'll release it. But really proud of who Joe Fusel has become in this program, his development, his size, his strength, knowledge of the offense. Ja'Kai Leftwich, redshirt freshman, and how much he's developed in his short time here. And then I know Weston Franklin has played a lot of ball for us as a true freshman center last year, but just seeing his development and how he's been able to perform in the scrimmages has been really good. Luke Benson had 3 catches for over 50 yards. I think 57 is what Mike has to be exact. And just the things he's been able to do for us, the multiplicity in the offense. P.J. Harris, former receiver here, now is playing some tight end, some H-back for us. I've been very pleased with his performance and how much he's been able to learn and the things that he's able to do for us in the passing game. Newcomers, E.J. Jenkins, we all see his stature, his physical presence out there, but who he is every single day coming to work, his focus has been a really nice addition to the team. The same can be said for Dylan McDuffie. Was not here in the spring, but has come out this preseason and really made his mark on the program as a player. I think he had over 50 yards on Saturday. And then Hassan Hall was here in the spring, but just how he's developed and that threesome of Dante, Dylan, and Hassan has been really good to watch them develop and them compete. It's a really good competition for touches. Defensively, some young guys that have really stood out. Zeke Biggers, what do we classify him as? This is his 2nd year. But again, a young man that obviously when he walks on the field, his stature, his presence is impressive, but his development in the year that we've had him and now that Coach Turner and Coach Knight, just the fundamentals, technique, and just his relentless nature have stood out. Horace Lockett, for a young defensive tackle, has had flashes. Daniel Carson, he wasn't here in the spring. He's come in, and throughout the 2.5, 3 weeks of camp, he's progressed nicely across the front. Noah Collins, again, second-year guy, probably had his best day Saturday. He was a noticeable force as an outside backer defensive end on Saturday. He needs to continue as we build up to game day. 5 new DBs. Kenny Bennett wasn't here with us in the spring. Long, physical corner, played some nickel for us throughout the preseason. Has been a nice addition. KJ Wallace, same thing, plays a couple of positions, but played a lot of nickel as well. Just how they're competing and adding a dimension of depth to that group, along with Eric Reed, Amari Harvey, and Kari G. Those 5 guys have come in, and the older group in that secondary unit has brought them together. Another name I want to point out is Kenyatta Watson. I think we're finally getting to see the fully healthy version of Kenyatta, and has done some really nice things throughout this preseason camp. So excited about him and Kenan Johnson as well. I know you guys are going to ask about the kicking situation. I thought Jude Kelly did really nice on Saturday, and he was 4 for 4. Hit a 46-yarder, hit a 47-yarder, and then David Shanahan had some really nice punts as well. We put the returners the week before, and you guys were out here, the week before we put the place kickers under a lot of pressure in front of the whole team. On Saturday, we did that same thing with the punt returners. So put them out there on an island in front of everybody, and just to compete to see who the returner is going to be. So those are the newcomers. I just want to touch on them before we even open it for questions.
Okay. Questions? If you could, raise your hand so you got a microphone. We'll start right over here with Kelly.
Really, since the spring, you added Coach Cheney. You've added some veteran guys
Sure.
to your staff that have experience in the support roles. Can you kind of talk through what they do and kind of each guy, like what your thoughts are on them?
Yeah, so I mean, he's the one that has come in and has done a really good job. Quality control, just things from an offensive perspective to help, obviously, the whole offensive staff, but just some things to help me too as I'm going more and more into the defensive room. Coach Cheney does a really good job, getting the information, deducing it down. He and I have long conversations and things that we can do to help the offense's development as we go through preseason camp and then going into the season as well. And I know he'll be a week ahead, helping the offensive staff prepare for upcoming opponents. And the same thing as John Hevesy, one of my dear friends who's last 17 years he's been in the SEC. Have tremendous amount of respect for him, and he's doing the same thing, but from a defensive perspective, helping the defensive staff and myself, just seeing things from an offensive lens, and so protections and run game and all these other things, and has been invaluable as a resource and a person of counsel to me.
Rod?
We have a new offensive coordinator and a new cornerback.
Yep.
Does Coach Paul have a preference of where he wants to be on game day, on the sidelines, up in the box, like that?
Right, we've talked about that at length. Actually, that was a big point this morning. We're going to talk about it here this afternoon as we go through practice and review it. Just every single detail of who's going to be up, who's going to be down, all of those kind of things. We've talked through it. We will iron it out finally tomorrow. So next Tuesday or whatever, I'd be happy to answer that.
Okay. Just go ahead with that microphone.
Coach, one of the biggest unknowns, I think, going into the season is your whole line. You alluded to it a minute ago.
Sure.
It's still early, but do you see a lot of cohesion from these guys and they're going?
Yeah.
Good hope for a strong run game on their
Yeah, and I think Brent's done a really good job of just, making sure we're cross-training guys at a couple of positions, seeing which group of 5 is gelling and working together. So every single day he's moving it around, and as we were getting closer, the changes and the tweaks are becoming less and less. And, we saw that on Saturday. I don't want to give too much away. But the big thing is trying to make sure that we have 8 to 9 that are ready to go when we get to Mercedes-Benz and playing at a high level and being able to interchange. But, there's been some really good signs from that group, but still a lot of work to do at every single position, including that one until we get to game day.
Okay.
Jim, before you got to camp, you mentioned being excited to see a healthy Keon. I'm curious, kind of in freshman camp, what have you seen? Do you think he's someone that could be like an all-ACC caliber? And for you?
Yeah, and I don't want to put those kind of labels, but I think just who he is as a competitor, tremendous ability, but just his focus, his work ethic, his relentless nature, who he is in the locker room. You guys probably are out there and don't see him talk very much, but just in the locker room, his presence, his demeanor, his level of focus rubs off on a lot of the guys on the team. And obviously he's got tremendous physical ability, and he is healthy and playing at a high level, and just he just wants to continue to get better every single day. Very coachable, and wants us to be really good as a team, and is driven for team success, and then the individual success will come with that as well. But really proud of Keon.
Kelly?
Just curious, I know you don't like talking about injuries, but do you have kind of a timeline for when Leo Blackburn might be available again?
Yeah, we don't talk about that with anybody. I do respect the question. I know you've got to ask it, but we don't talk about injuries, and we'll continue to have that policy. They're coming out. The guys that are still getting rehab and those kind of things come out at about period 4, period 5. But I'll keep that, with the medical staff.
Rod?
Looking at Clemson's offense and their quarterback situation, I believe their new offensive coordinator mentioned this week that he's going to play both the last year's starter and the freshman. Is there anything different that you have to prepare for the freshman as opposed to the starter?
Yeah, and we've started. We're still in camp mode, still working on getting ourselves to be the best possible version of ourselves that we can be. But throughout this week, we did it all summer, but throughout this week, once we watch practice tape, we're getting a head start on them, obviously watching the spring game as well. But we'll start introducing that to the players on Monday, and I get fully into Clemson prep on Monday. So,
Ken?
Chris, you mentioned change before. Can you mention, give a specific example of a way that he's been able to help you or help the offensive staff in terms of either game planning or he's just looking at the practice and saying, hey, think about this.
yeah, well, some of the things he does for me is just every single day he'll come to me afterwards and just give a kind of a list of things that we can improve on globally and specifically to offense, things that we can do, and take those notes, figure out the best way to implement some things from a holistic perspective as a team, and then certain things that we can specifically do. Sorry about that. Specifically do for the offense as a whole or individual positions, and there's been some things that have been layered in that we'll adjust. Like one of the biggest things was the crowd noise piece, starting on Monday. That was some of the things that he's brought up, but I'll keep those between us. But he does a really good job. He's got a wealth of experience and a wealth of success, and he's able to help the program as a whole from those perspectives and ideas.
Right over here.
Yep.
As a whole, in a big game on a big stage like that, what do you think that would do for the program as a whole?
Yeah, we all understand the what an opportunity is for us, but we've got a lot of work to do over these next 13 days to be a really good football team. We know the quality of the opponent, the quality of the coaches, the quality of the players that are in that program, and the biggest thing that we have to do is focus on ourselves. How can we get better all the way until the tip, and then on Monday when we start introducing the game plan, how much focus and attention to detail can we have as we prepare to play at a high level on that Monday night. So the whole focus is ourselves. The whole focus is how can we become better so we're able to step up to the challenge, and we understand that they're a great program, a great team with great players, and we're excited for the opportunity. We've got to work very, very hard to be ready to go and play at a high level.
Over here with Kelly.
I'm just curious, given that you're playing on a Monday, does that change how you guys practice that week? Do you do something on Saturday? It's kind of funky having that extra 2 days. Just
Sure.
how do you approach that?
So the way, and this is historically and traditionally that I've been a part of and that we've done, is you just start as whatever the game day is, you just start that as Saturday. So Monday will be Saturday, Sunday will be Friday, Saturday will be Thursday, and on back. And then we'll give them, the players, Wednesday off as an off day, so that Thursday is the Tuesday leading up into the week. But Monday and Tuesday will kind of be bonus days for us from a prep perspective. So you always start whatever, because the guys understand in terms, today is Friday. Hey, dog, I know it's Sunday, but we tell them that it's Friday, and then on Saturday there's going to be college game day on Saturday. There's going to be games going on TV. But hey, fellas, it's Thursday today, so that perspective that our guys have been around us enough to know that that's how we think and approach it that way.
We can get over to Patrick here, and then we'll wrap up back on the other
Coach, to
side.
follow that up, and I'm not sure I got the calendar straight in my head, but following the Clemson game, and I know we don't do that, but I believe it's a short week for
Sure.
North Carolina, obviously. So how does that Tuesday morning become?
Yep. So I've got literally sitting on my desk 10 yards away from us is a 3-week grid, how we're approaching every single day for this 3-week stretch. And, the players just come in, we tell them what day it is and, go to work. So we can get into that conversation when we get to that week. But, the whole focus right now is on us becoming the best team that we can be. And then once we get to Monday, from a player's perspective, then we transition into full game prep mode for Clemson.
Okay. Rod, and then Ken, if you could wrap us up.
I know you've been putting a lot of emphasis on special teams in practice.
Yep.
Going back to Shanahan, it seems like he's becoming more consistent with his punts now.
Yep.
And even today in practice, he looked the
Sure.
best I've
Yep.
seen him. Has his punting approach been tweaked, or is it just a matter of gaining more experience and
I
going
think it's a
out?
little bit of all of it. But just like today, we've got to find out guys that who's going to be able to cover the punch really, really well, who is the punt returner under a pressure situation, who on the punt return team can make really good decisions, block in space, not get penalties. So today, you guys weren't out there. We did a 4-on-4 drill where we had a returner back there. I won't tell the yard line that he was at for David's distance, but we had the returner back there. And then we had 4 punt team players in one-on-one matchups against 4 punt return players. And it was snap, punt, cover, and make good decisions, tag off the returner, just to see that kind of thing with guys running down on the returner, who can make good decisions, want to get down there, who can stop them from getting down there. And I thought that was a really good drill just to see the returners under pressure and the cover guys and the return team guys. So it was a good drill. We'll do the same drill tomorrow from a kickoff versus kickoff return perspective. That'll be tomorrow for special teams as we build the ATL depth. The big piece of that is the special teams component as well.
Ken?
Chris, the catapult technology, are you using it in a different way or the same way? Like how are you trying to make use of it?
Yeah, same, absolutely. We used it the same way. So there's a lot of there's some different modalities we're using. We're also using a system called Sparta. So our athletic training staff before each practice will get a Sparta number, and there's certain guys, they have a baseline and then a number so that we know where they're at, so that they can modify some load as needed, or just to see that we're on the right track with the guys. But the catapult we use every single day to track their numbers, track their sprints, the sprint distance, their player load, change direction, accelerations, all of those things. That is a daily thing. But also the Sparta system is good just to see where they are from a biomechanical perspective, so we can try as well as we can to prevent injuries. And our training staff and strength staff have done a really good job in collaboration on that. So
Thank you, Coach.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Okay. We've got defensive back Myles Sims. We'll go ahead and open it right up for questions for Myles. Please, same thing. Grab a microphone. We'll go ahead and start it. Kelly?
Good morning.
Just, I guess you guys are shifting from camp to getting ready for Clemson, and that. How do you feel like the camp went in terms of just player development, where you guys are at in the secondary, and then what are some things you work on this week as you make that transition?
I think camp has been a grind for each and every one of us. Camp has been an experience. I still think we are still in a little bit of the camp mode this week. As as ahead, we're looking forward to getting into Clemson next week. But I still think we're still focusing and working on ourselves.
Go ahead, Rob.
You talked about camp being a grind, and some days it's tough going out there. Is there anyone in the room that gives you guys a kick in the butt or tries to get you up and going every day?
Well, each player is different, We all got to bring the same enthusiasm every day, regardless of how you feel or what your body may be telling you. The body follows the mind, And if you tell yourself you're going to quit, you're going to quit. If you tell yourself you're in there, you'll be in there until it's over. And so, me personally, I try and uplift my teammates as much as possible and make sure everybody else is uplifting everyone else, because at the end of the day, it's a team effort. Camp is a grind, but at the same time, you gotta bring your A game every day.
Ken?
Chris, just if I can ask you kind of broadly at your time here, like how would you say it's gone, and how are you hoping it goes forward from this point for you personally?
My time here has been a great experience for me. I learned a lot of life lessons. Moving forward, I feel like the sky's the limit. I feel like we have a great future, and there's a lot of great opportunities out there. We just need to go and work hard to go get them and bring them home.
Okay, if you can get the microphone over here, Patrick.
Myles, just curious, among your teammates, you got a lot of new teammates. Among your teammates, who's the hardest for you to guard in practice?
I like the competition between me and EJ. Yeah, because he's such a big receiver. I don't think I'll be facing any other receiver bigger than him in our division, and he gives me great competition and just makes me work on my eye discipline, make me work on my technique. So that's a great competition right there, me and EJ. You're welcome.
Ron?
You talk about matchups. Has Coach Tillman maybe tried to use your length in certain positions to create positive matchups against the offense?
In our defense, we're taught that we can play wherever. So we can play to the field and to the boundary. So there has not been any specific placement for me other than just being the cornerback on the field and boundary and knowing my assignment and making sure I do my job and making sure I'm holding my teammates accountable. That's about it.
Kelly?
You have some new guys in your room this year, including freshmen. Just what are you seeing from those guys? Anyone kind of caught your eye in terms of just how they're competing or developing?
Yeah, the competition level for the freshmen in the DB room is at an all-time high. Even though we do have depth, as an older guy, I make sure I'm on them hard so they won't get complacent or get relaxed. A freshman that I noticed from my high school, Westlake High School, CP Lee, Clayton. He's a great DB. He plays safety. He had an interception last scrimmage. I think he's a great young individual, and I think he's going to excel in this program. I think a lot of freshmen will. They just got to keep working and keep grinding and understand who they are.
Time for a couple more for Myles. Rod?
Coach Winkie talks about he wants his quarterbacks not to put the ball in danger. In other words, put it in a position where you can make a play, that type of thing. What have you seen from Jeff in that respect in practice?
It's competitive. Coach Winkie is a competitive coach. Every day, it's something different. You watch film and you can pick up on previous plays from the previous practices and what tendencies, but there's no guarantee that you will see that again.
Ken, if you want to wrap us up with Myles.
Sure. Got a hard-hitting question here for you. You changed your number to 0. I'm curious, what was kind of if that was the number you wanted, and kind of what did you tell Coach Collins about why you should have it?
Well, a number is just a number. At the end of the day, I feel like a number doesn't define a player, but I wanted 0 because I just wanted a single digit. And as well, there's a famous quote by Gandhi about 0 representation. You know, you got to reach the point of 0 first before you can do anything else. And I feel like I represent that well. So,
Awesome. Thanks, Myles.
you're welcome.
First